Am I the asshole for refusing to take my daughter to my ex-husband's wedding? My 42 female, ex-husband, 45 male, and I were together for 20 years. We had a beautiful daughter together, Jocelyn, 14 female. We got a divorce 5 years ago due to infidelity on his part. I was devastated. He was the love of my life and he betrayed all of the trust and loyalty we had built up. To make matters worse, he ended up in a relationship with the woman he cheated on me with. They got engaged 1 year later and are set to be married in 2 weeks. Honestly, I still am heartbroken over my divorce. It's hurtful to me that we were together for 20 years, and he could just go fall in love with someone else, as if I was nothing. However, Jocelyn was only 9 when we divorced, and he's a great father, so I would never want to come in between their bond. Jocelyn loves his fiancée as she's very sweet to her, but she doesn't know the reason why her dad and I divorced. I want to tell her when she's a bit older and he doesn't want to tell her at all. Anyways, I compromised with him that Jocelyn could come to the wedding, but that he would have to provide the transportation to and from the wedding, as I want no part of it. I don't want to drop my daughter off at his wedding. I don't want to see all the decorations and the happy guests. It'd just be too much for me. I didn't tell him all of that obviously, but he agreed. Today he calls me and asks if he can ask for a huge favor. It turns out that his future in-laws are flying in the morning of the wedding, and he has to go pick them up. Therefore he can't pick up my daughter the day of and wanted to ask if I could take her. I said absolutely not and asked why he can't pick her up the day before when she gets off of school. He said he doesn't want to make the drive twice, and that he will likely not have time as he has to prepare for the rehearsal dinner. I asked why can't the bride pick up her parents. He said she'll be getting her hair done and won't be able to. I laughed and told him there was no way I'd take my daughter, and that he'd have to figure it out. Boy, why did I say that? My daughter ran downstairs crying, face beet red 10 minutes after my conversation with her dad, calling me terrible and accusing me of not wanting her to spend time with her dad. I told her that's not the case and she demanded to know why I couldn't take her. I couldn't give her an answer and she ran upstairs crying. Now I'm getting messages from his family calling me heartless and cold and a bitch for trying to ruin his special day over a relationship that is long over. My family understands my point of view, but I feel terrible that I've upset my daughter. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole? Should I just put aside my feelings and take her? Not the asshole, but I also think your daughter is old enough to know the truth about her father, otherwise you will be the bad guy going forward. This was going to be my response. Also, her parents can take an Uber. It is the 21st century, after all. Or any of the family that's calling original poster, heartless, can go pick them up FFS. His parents could pick the daughter up. Or any other family member could collect the in-laws. Original poster is not the only source of transportation. It's 100% a power play on X's part. It's not enough that he cheated on original poster and blew their family apart. He needs to rub his wedding in her nose and manipulate the daughter into thinking mom's the bad guy. Reprehensible. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The people he needs to pick up can get a taxi. His first responsibility should be to his daughter, if he actually wants her there. And I think it might be time to tell your daughter a bit more about what happened. She's a teenager now, and needs to be learning lessons about loyalty and managing relationships responsibly. Her getting the impression that this situation is alright, and that you're wrong for not being happy that the ex-husband who cheated on you is getting remarried is not a good place for her to start when it comes to learning how to expect good treatment from future partners. If he thinks picking up his future in-laws is more important than picking up his own daughter, then he's very, very wrong. The adult in-laws can manage a variety of transportation options, a young teenager can't. He's showing his priorities, and it isn't his daughter, and you need to be prepared to help protect her and guide her as he continues into the future wanting to play happy family and have his daughter go along with it while he puts her in second place to his new family. When it comes to learning how to expect good treatment from future partners, this is one of the most important pieces of advice. We often emulate what we learn at a young age, and the daughter will overlook red flags and will get into really bad relationships if this isn't told to her. Also, if she doesn't learn until later, the resentment will be palpable all around. She will feel double betrayed that she wasn't told the truth, and she'll feel like a sucker for always running to dad. But most importantly, she'll learn that the people she trusted most are not able to be trusted because they lied to her. Time to tell her some of the info, original poster. Also, not the asshole. She'll definitely feel like a sucker for always running to dad after learning how he treated her mother. But she will also start to resent her mom some for withholding the truth on how her dad treated her mom. I think given the circumstances, 14 is old enough because in a few years, she will be dating herself. Co-parenting doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice well-defined boundaries. Not the asshole. Co-parenting doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice well-defined boundaries. Well said. He couldn't find any trustable adult to pick his daughter up? There must be someone? An uncle? Grandma? No one? Seriously? Not the asshole. Like any of his family members that seem to think she is ruining his wedding. Funny how none of them offered to pick up the daughter. I bet it's because he told them original poster refuses to let the daughter come, not that he couldn't pick her up. Not the asshole, but 14 is old enough to understand cheating. I would tell darling daughter that while I love her and I love that she has a good relationship with her dad and her future stepmom, I can't handle seeing their wedding when they started dating while dad and I were still married. Then I would ask her if she has any ideas as to how she can be at the wedding without me having to see it. Sometimes teenagers are incredible out-of-the-box thinkers. So are 35-year-olds. Uber. Actually, Lyft. I only use Uber when I have no other choice. According to TOS, under 18 can't ride alone. Maybe in-laws could Uber. All of his relatives who are sending you hate messages. Why can't one of them take her? Why can't the future IL's Uber from the airport? You told your ex that transportation was his responsibility. He claims to want your daughter there, but he is putting literally everything and everyone ahead of her. Then, he calls her right up to make it your fault. Dude is an extreme AH. Not the asshole. This is where I fall. Respond to those heartless jerks and say, so, are you able to handle the transportation? It's asking too much for you to play happy families that day and be around the wedding where your ex marries the woman he cheated on you with. It's not for 2 weeks. That's plenty of time for him to find alternate arrangements for her to get there. You have set your boundary. Maybe you can compromise to take her to a midway point, or to a friend or family members. His family is pissed enough to text you, they can step up. His wedding and his inability to plan stopped being your problem a long time ago. You would be taw if you stopped her going, but you're not. He's the asshole for breaching a boundary you put in place, and a simple and easily worked around one at that. Please send a group message to all of them, with a BCC to your attorney stating this. His lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part. There are many adults in your family planning to attend the wedding. I am sure several of you can come together to figure out who in your family can pick her up and take her to the wedding, since her dear old dad is now too busy picking up his in-laws from the airport, who could, consequently, get a taxi, instead of his daughter. But, make no mistake, while I actively encourage and support his relationship with his daughter, I will not be driving her to his wedding to his affair partner. I will have her ready for someone from your family to pick up at X time on X day. If it is only 2 weeks until the wedding, I would not tell her before the wedding that he had an affair. She will have an emotional reaction and you don't want to have that used against you as ruining his wedding since he's in manipulator mode. After the wedding, sit her down and tell her why you are not willing to drive her to the wedding. It is very important that she understands that it is absolutely okay to have boundaries and self-respect. I completely agree. I was 14 when my dad started having an affair, and eventually married his affair partner. It wrecked me for a long time, well into my college years. I do think daughter should know the reason for the divorce, and she probably has some idea because kids aren't stupid, but I don't think it would be emotionally healthy for her to know all the truth, right before the wedding. If anything, maybe original poster can explain that she loved dad and wasn't the one who initiated the divorce, and that it would be too painful to see any of the wedding set up. But I also find terrible that dad isn't even willing to pick her up the day before because he doesn't want to make the drive twice. That seems very telling on his part. Not the asshole. Time to tell your daughter why you divorced. Dad has options to get her there. He's not exercising them. On the plus side, his new bride's grand prize is a cheating spouse. Agreed, it's called Uber or transportation service. Either the in-laws get the service or the daughter gets it. Original poster is allowed to have boundaries for as long as she wants. The kid has to understand that the responsibility is on her father, not mom. I normally wouldn't advocate ultimatums, but if dad isn't going to hold up his end of the bargain, the original poster needs to let him know that she won't uphold hers about waiting to tell the daughter. Sometimes you need to drop a nuke. Not the asshole. It smells too damn much like he wants to rub his new thing in your face. UGHH. And OMG, just tell her. I don't mean go on and on about it, but you need to explain why you do not want to go there. She's old enough. I agree. This seems like a calculated attack, if not by X then by the mistress. I know you probably don't want to tell your daughter the reason for the divorce, but I think it's time you tell her. She's 14, she's a teenager, she can handle it and she needs to know the reason, and maybe she can understand your feelings more. It's perfectly reasonable for you not to be anywhere near that wedding. He's a cheater and she's a hone wrecker, you don't need to be around that, and it's bad for your mental health. If his family is so up in arms about you not going out of your way to cater to him, then they can be the ones to drive and pick up your daughter, not you. Why aren't they offering? Not the asshole. I agree it's time to tell her, but right before the wedding isn't the time, emo. Too many big emotions competing. Can't believe how far down I had to scroll to see this. For now, tell original poster should tell her daughter it's too weird to be near the wedding of an ex-husband. Then copy, paste a text to that side of the family explaining that daughter is allowed to attend, but needs a ride since dad is putting new in-laws before his daughter. Not the asshole. Just be honest with her, your dad and I got divorced because he cheated on me with this person. Your dad loves you and is a good dad, but I need to have boundaries for myself. This is the right answer. She's old enough to be able to understand. It's not like original poster is saying she can't attend at all, she only won't facilitate her being there. If dad wants her there, he can get her there. That's a reflection on him, not original poster. Is there honestly no one from his family that can come pick her up? You set a boundary, you aren't saying no, she can't go. Why can't he ask a family member to pick her up? Right, his relatives don't seem too busy to send original poster hate messages. Surely, one of them could make the time to bring his daughter to the wedding. Not the asshole. If his family is so upset with you, why aren't any of them offering to pick her up? She's 14, you can tell her about the divorce if he's willing to throw you under the bus for not driving her. AITA. Husband is a huge asshole. How is there no one available to drive the girl to the wedding? His family, your family, a cab. You're not an asshole for not wanting to do it, but you could put some effort into finding her a ride. The fact he never wants his daughter to know his dirty secret is hilarious to me. What a slimy coward. What's he going to say when he cheats on this one? When you marry the mistress, you create a job opening after all. I think you need to tell your daughter that you can't do it because it hurts your feelings very badly, but that you understand how badly she wants to go and that you'll try to find her a ride, and tell his family that you want your daughter to be able to go and that you're disappointed that they don't care enough to help. Why should original poster put in the effort? She never said husband had to drive daughter himself, just that transportation was his problem. However, he gets the daughter to the wedding is his problem. He has 2 weeks to figure something out. Since his family apparently cares enough to send original poster angry texts, they can come pick her up. Not the asshole. But you should take her on the condition that you will tell her exactly why you divorced on the way to the wedding. He can decide if he magically has a solution or not. Innovative. I like. Except for the fact it makes the daughter a pawn in this whole thing. She should hear when it's appropriate and she can handle the information.